Hey, this is Review by Norm. I'm going to be talking about Martin Luther King, and I'll also be talking about Malcolm X. Um, I was going to the gym into last week, and it just dawned on me this kid did not know. Well, he's not a kid; he was an adult because he's working. Respectfully, he knew about Malcolm X civil rights movement, his peace movements, Nobel Peace Prize, all that stuff that they teach in school. He did not know that Martin Luther King was actually on a downward spiral, uh, doing drugs, not being faithful, attacking people, stuff like that. And he's just like, "What?" And I was like, "What did you not know about Malcolm X or Martin Luther King?" I mean, he's like, "Dude, I didn't hear any of that." I'm like, "What?" And my background is obviously my skin color, black. So I read about Martin Luther King. I read about Malcolm X, and I was also taught by my peers about both of these people. Um, Martin Luther King was very humble, respectful, really gathering of the community, but he started becoming savage at the end because he was. I guess the best term for me was like he was so overwhelmed with power and control because his words would move people to do things. Um, and I personally believe that's why he was killed. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. I have no problem admitting that. But if you're able to push people to do things that you want done by just spoken word, that is powerful. That's like biblical. It's like back in the day, the 1800s, when the Bible controlled the warriors. The military, as it were, back then. Malcolm X was so rambunctious at the beginning of his life that people are like, this guy is absolutely crazy. This guy is just AWOL, just very hostile. Um, Nobody liked him, and he wasn't with the whole background of what Martin Luther King was about. So very black and white differences. I followed Malcolm X a lot more, and this is where I like to tell people is he talked about how the black community couldn't integrate at his time with the white community, and he said, uh, like not verbatim, but it's basically where black people were held back from being able to be educated to be able to progress. They didn't have all this access to knowledge to learn skills and crafts because they were slaves. It was either cotton, the fields, stuff like that, not industrial equipment, not being able to work on automotives, not even being able to read anything. So Malcolm X wasn't about integration at his time because of the disadvantage his community would have, the black community. And this is something where a lot of people need to take more accountability for, because nowadays when we talk about Black Lives Matter, um, putting all these bills and laws into place to help black people, uh, it's really wild being able to see what he said, and it's still happening today. Which is, black people don't. Well, he would probably roll in his grave just like Malcolm X to be able to say like, black people can go to the library, pick up books, learn something. YouTube, like there's so much at our fingertips to where these two gentlemen would not squander that opportunity. And there's just a lot of people squandering opportunity. And I don't mean squandering it like you're just, super dumb and, it's your fault. No, there's a there's a reason why we do what we do. Obviously, partially it's our fault, 100%. Um, but it's generational. I look at grandfathers that are black, and then they're always wearing the coolest stuff. They're trying to be cool, look cool, act cool, but then they're poor. They don't have a house. Not that that's important, but they don't have something to claim as theirs. They own nothing except the clothes on their back, and even that required a credit card. Um, so on and so forth. There's a lot of people, minorities that deal drugs, and that is passed down generationally. There's acts of violence, whether that be just fist or guns. Um, I recommend reading what the books. I got my audibles pulled up too. Um, look up Black Wall Street if you've made it this far in, obviously, my YouTube video. And I'm trying to be a lot, not really happy-go-lucky person, and I'm trying to actually get better about that because I want to be engaged with the community, because this is something that's very important, stuff like that. But it's called Black Wall Street. um, look that up. I would say I would heavily suggest studying it. Study Malcolm X. um, there's a lot of YouTube videos about how he talks and how he carries himself, which is very diplomatic and well reasoned within his rights. What's the other one? Thomas Sowell, Wealth, Poverty, and Politics. Thomas Sowell is a black American that has a, I could be wrong, doctorate in economics. Um, he does not believe, I'll be quite honest, he doesn't believe black people should be handed things. Um, and that's real. From my point of view, is we survived 400 years being thrown on a different, basically, planet when our great 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 grandparents came here. We went through trial and tribulations to now we can walk the streets, not be lit on fire, not be lynched, not having to pick on fields. So yeah, so I would say a lot more people need to study Malcolm X and Thomas Sowell. I don't understand how it's so within my own race, because we're so broken to where once somebody starts getting out, now they are basically white. Like, I'm actually categorized as a white black guy because I don't believe in systemic racism, because I'm able to start my own business. I'm able to buy my own house here the next year. Hopefully, once I grind on my business to keep savings and get my family into a better position. So, that being that, I'm going to end it right here, but there's so much we can do. All right. Peace.